we're live. Yes, yes we are. My favorite part of the stream is the long, comfortable silence between the casters.
Well, I'm rushing to finish my shift, so that's understandable.
Yeah, it is. I'm just being annoying. Setting up brackets isn't fun. We started this tournament with 12 people and with 16 people, and we're at 12 now. by the way, Shade, the tournament starts in 2 minutes, and you're not in the caster booth.
Right, ship is finished, just barely.
Password is fabulous. No, famous. It's famous. Password is famous.
Were there any special symbols?
What?
In the password, is it just famous or any special symbols?
I'm pretty sure it's just famous. It might have a capital F, but I'm pretty sure it's all lowercase.
Yeah, it's all lowercase.
I retyped it, and now for sure it's all lowercase.
Weird, I'm still getting incorrect passwords. Could you just put it somewhere?
Yes, I'm putting in announcements right now. I was probably spelling it wrong. So anyways, besides that technical difficulty, why don't the casters introduce themselves?
Okay, I can go first. I'm Polar Bear, and I'm a pretty old member of the Cosmoteer Discord. Been around for a long time. Not like ancient, but play around things. And I was gonna participate in this tournament, but my ship didn't end up working out as I hoped it would. So I'm just gonna host. Shade.
And I'm Shade. I've been around since 2019, I think. Lately, I've mostly been just participating in tournaments rather than in the game more actively, although I still find it a lot of fun to build ships for tournaments. But usually I run quite late and finish them in the last few minutes, as happened this time. And the password still isn't working.
It's literally just F. Can you spell famous? Famous. That's it. Famous. That's the password.
Yep, Andrew in chat is also having a problem with the password.
Key. Clearing it for now. Okay. Now it should be working. But you joined when I put the password down anyways. So... Who's Andrew? Okay, I think the password should be working now. Who's Andrew?
I don't know. Wait.
Nope, not locked out here.
Oh, okay. That's a ton of bullshit.
So we're still waiting for INC or Necro.
Mm-hmm. Apparently they are also having struggles with the password. Apparently I really misspelled famous or something, and it's causing a lot of problems. So do you guys think that there's going to be a specific type of ship that is more common than others?
I mean, I think there's always going to be rails, but other than rails, there might be more missile ships, I feel like. Although, since this is a capture like King of the Hill, then there might be more like, I don't know, depends. Maybe walls. I don't really think walls would be that good of a choice since they're kind of weak on the defensive side. And that's kind of the most important thing when you're dealing with King of the Hill. So I think
I
missile
feel like
ships with heavy armor.
yeah, I do think that Sumo would actually be very popular here, just because it's fairly simple to create a ship and it can counter a lot of the strategies thrown at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if sumo would be the best idea though, because depending on who you're fighting, they could either get behind your armor cone and kill your CR or other things like that.
Yeah, it really depends on how well you aim, because I think you actually capture the point quite fast. So if you get a sumo ship and you land the first hit, and you get them way out of the ring, then they might not be able to come back before like a separate ship caps the point.
Oh, one thing, yeah, I'm definitely noticing right now, and I'm sure will be in most of the matches, is like tiny ships for capturing the ring while the other larger ships are busy fighting. Those can be very useful, like a squib or something to just capture while you're outside of the ring. Although ICN is using some built-in looking ships, to say the least.
That's
I
a
don't
nice
know
way
how
to
very
put it.
well they're gonna do. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to turn my
Andrew, on
mic
the
off
other hand,
and let you guys do the casting.
right. Andrew, on the other hand, has some decently looking competitive ships, although not very optimized, it seems. Well, actually, he's
Mm,
got some pretty nice setup inside the rail guns for distributing energy.
Yeah, those are some nice traps, I think.
Yeah, those are railgun traps.
Although it seems that INC's ship has engaged the small point capper and destroyed it.
Yep, that's the problem with those weaponless ships. If you're gonna bring them, at least don't try going against another ship with weapons. Also, yeah, the side points don't actually count for any score. So the guy, what's his name? Oh yeah, INC. It is, yeah. INC is just pointlessly using a ship over in the corner. Let's see.
Right, if INC is lucky, those nukes will land and do some good damage, but it's quite likely that his reactor or their reactor will be
Ooh,
gone
that one's
by
gonna
that time.
be. That took out a lot of thrusters. Oh my goodness, that ship is gonna feel the pain. Yeah. So he's lost like a whole side of his
Oh.
armor now, and a railgun from that.
The reactor's getting hit from behind, actually.
Yep, and there goes that ship. That was a very good move. I did not expect that to happen. I didn't even know this was a nuke ship. I thought that was like a laser wall or something. It's a pretty decent nuke ship there.
I actually think Andrew might lose just for the reason that that they didn't manage to take out the reactor of the nuke ship, and now it can dish out another round.
Yeah, and he's not really focusing his traps very well. At least he didn't, and now that's game. That was an interesting turn of events. I did not expect INC to win so quickly. That nuke ship is definitely very good at ramming and taking out large portions of armor. Right, next up is Captain Redstone and Amistad.
And I'm going against Danwood right after that, I think.
Yes, yes you are.
I remember fighting Danwood in the last tournament. I think Danwood brought some very nice wall designs.
Yeah. Both of these people are pretty competitive, I would say, so it's going to be interesting to see what they choose. Oh, and Amistad disconnected. Okay, Captain Redstone looks like he's going for a missile ship, like I thought. That's going to be very hard to kill. And he's going for two... Wait, what? Oh, he's just showing off the ships. So he has two different rammers, it looks like. I don't think they have any weapons. I can't really tell from the tiny...
No. One of them is definitely a missile
Oh, no.
orbiter.
One of them is a missile orbiter, you're right. Is that other one thrusters or missiles? I can't tell. I think it looks like thrusters. Anyways, one of them looks like a pure rammer, which is a very, very wide ship. There's a missile orbiter, which will be very useful too, for ramming and for dealing out damage. I don't know about the missile barge. That probably wouldn't be the best choice, because it's so slow. You would probably get the point captured before you could even play.
Yeah, definitely, but a missile orbiter, that could be quite powerful. And also with a humorous name on the last missile barge, you're in crusading distance.
Yes. Oh, it looks like he's going for the missile orbiter. Alright, and then, ion orbiter-ish. Interesting. Amistad's going for an ion orbiter. Or ion rammer, I guess. I don't really know what its purpose is. Yeah. And then he has a squib-like, but a very large squib-like ship.
It does appear that my game froze, so if needed, you can start without me, but I should be back in 20 seconds.
Okay. Interestingly, Captain Redstone had missed mines. He has one mine launcher. I don't know how much good that's gonna do, but it's an interesting strategy, I guess. Mines would be pretty effective in this type of scenario, actually. So missiles are hitting the squib, and it lost all of its weapons. Now the only thing he has to focus on is the ion orbiter. Both of these ships have really bad turning radiuses, but Captain Redstone was just slow enough to stay in. Meanwhile, Amistad way overshot that. The Squib Lake is now completely destroyed. The Ion Orbiter is coming into the ring. Although Captain Redstone has already captured it, which means he's
Yep, and
dead.
that's game.
Yeah, you definitely got to be careful with those orbiters. They have 0 back thrust, and turning can be a real pain. Right, so next up is Eno Shade versus... what was it again? Eno Shade versus Danwood. This is going to be another 2 competitive players. Danwood was actually... what was he? Who was the winner of the last one? I can't remember now.
It was
Last tournament.
Quiximo, but Danwood did do
Oh, Quiximo. And
extremely
Danwood was
well.
second, right? Yeah. I have the stats right here. Hold on.
Also, Shade, remember to mute yourself for the fight, just in case.
Yes, of course.
And I will be helping cast this one because Shade is playing in the match.
Yeah, so Danwood was second in the last tournament, so this will be interesting to see. He won with a wall, and it looks like he's using the exact same wall this time. Very classic move. All right.
Well, if it ain't broken, don't
Anisha is
fix
going
it.
through a spinner or some rammers. It'd be interesting to see. I would say the spinner would do better against a wall, but we'll see. Might be too slow to get into the ring before it is captured.
I assume that's probably what the other ships are gonna come in handy for. Or he just uses all the money on the spinner.
Yeah, he is. Used all the money on the spinner. I would definitely do a smaller, Squib Lake for a spinner, because that thing is very slow. But once it's in the ring, there's no way you're going to get that out.
I wonder why Danwood decided to wait for so long before he actually spun his ship. I assume he could have gotten to the center ring by now, before the spinner even got there. Probably. If he had spawned sooner.
Maybe he's just courteous. I don't know.
Honor among thieves? Even with spawning late, he still got there first.
Oh wow, okay, this capture rate is crazy fast. I mean, I think he'll make it. It might be pretty close though.
Danwood may just want to try and push him out, instead of actually engaging at all with his weapons.
Okay, I think he's making, yes, okay. About 50% through the capture.
Shay doesn't have any weapons on that ship.
Wait, that's just a sumo spinner? What on earth? I don't think that's going to work out for him in any way, especially when he's about to get thrown back out of the ring again.
Well, he's more in the ring than Danwood at this point, though.
Yes, that's true. But it did not really change much possession. Capture rate is still 50% towards Danwood.
It's going down, though, so he's technically getting
Danwood
into
doesn't even have to do anything, really. He could just sit there and shoot.
Yeah, he's using all these fancy maneuvers, but 10 minutes of just shooting at it would probably do the trick.
I mean, Shade is so slow that like any movement on his part can be easily countered by the wall. This one's not looking really good for Shade, I would say.
That
Only
probably
a matter of time, really.
I imagine if he had added any amount of weapons that he would have probably damaged Danwood by now.
Yeah.
It's a very bold strategy, to say the least.
Another issue is that walls, they are meant to, like, usually a good designed wall can work under stress, like from EMP and stuff. But if you're not stressing the shields or anything on the wall, it has full weapon capabilities, which means its DPS is probably like double as what it normally would be. I would say, at least. I mean, shields take up a lot of energy when you're attacking them. So basically, he's double the disadvantage at not putting weapons on the spinner. He's gonna die twice as fast, and he has no way to attack back.
Yeah, I don't really imagine there's a situation where Shade can capture it. He can probably neutralize it, but that seems like a best case scenario.
Shade is almost out of the ring. And he's out of the ring. But Spinner Core is having a hard time getting back.
I think
it's like 75% captured.
I think that since Shade is actually 2 ships, and they're both less expensive than Danwood, it makes it so that it doesn't neutralize it as fast as Danwood would to Shade.
Yeah, especially since he's losing costs from all the armor.
He's about to go outside the ring again, too.
No. If he does one more time, it's probably going to be game over. It's like Danwood's trying to push him out.
He's starting
I feel like
to...
honestly it'd be pretty easy if you could just get a nice position on that spinner to push it out, but then again, it is pretty heavy, so...
It's starting to take a lot of the shield block itself damage, and a few fires have been started.
Yep. So the shield layout is very chaotic, to say the least.
It's not too bad. It survived 5 minutes of just this pure punishment.
But look at the corners. Do you see how far the crew have to travel to get there?
Maybe. It's better than anything I could do. He was working on this ship as the tournament was starting.
I definitely would have just gone one of them of the straight rumors, but...
I mean, still had 2 weeks to prepare, but... Not that it matters.
Oops, there goes a reactor and and another section.
And the ship
has... half of the spinner.
Is very much dissolved.
Right now the core has come out of the spinner and is leaving the ring. And the spinner core, or the outside of the spinner is now leaving the ring. No one is in the ring now. Although Shade is getting back in with his core.
Funnily enough, it seems like dying was the most effective strategy for Shade.
Yeah. It's not even gonna get to 0. And he's out of the ring again.
And those ships really aren't good at maneuvering, so they probably won't be getting back in anytime soon either.
I don't think his ring can move at all. And here comes the cannons.
Yeah,
Goodbye,
that doesn't have any armor. Or probably fire extinguishers. Oof.
Yep. Good game. Shade is technically still alive, but he's lost.
I really didn't think through what I would do after actually making the spinner, did I?
No, you didn't. Alright, so next up we have Dragon Knight versus your favorite capitalist. You move Aino Shade to Observer.
Yes.
There you
I definitely didn't almost kick him. So I don't know either of these
go. Dragon
players.
Knight is also going for a ramming ship. It'd be interesting to actually see one for once that works. He also has some squib-like designs. This is not a squib, okay. His other squib-like design is called This Is Not a Squib. He also has a rail trap, looks like.
Minus 100k, that is usually standard for rail traps.
Yeah, that's strange. Probably for room for the other squibs.
For the not squib.
Oh, wait, he has a mini battering ram that's actually half of 1.5 mil, so he's gonna probably use that with the spinner, or not spinner, rail trap.
Possibly. There's an interesting arrangement of stuff he could do here without necessarily showing the enemy what he will do. Which I rather like about the new format, is that you can do all these things.
Yes, so for example, you have the large sumo ship, which could be paired with a small squib, simply to take out the enemy ship with the sumo and then leave the squib there. But then you also have the the cannon fighter, which could be used if the enemy has a squib in order to take it out.
So Capitalist is going for a fast wall and a meme ship. So this will be good.
Red bus. Well, at least it counters Walt.
The rings have arranged themselves into a face. Capture points on wings, yes. Oh, looks like he's going for the large battering ram versus a fast wall. Although it's not really that fast, because that is a lot of... I mean, there's a considerable amount of armor, I would say. So...
Seems we lost
That's
Eno Shade
bullshit.
again.
The sumo ship is going very fast, actually, but all of
Well,
these ships,
a very hard time
it's,
for him.
yeah, not maneuvering.
He's barely in. Okay, also, the fast wall has also drifted out. Both of them are having a hard time maneuvering without any side thrust. Oh, I think that was on purpose. He's trying to get behind the rammer. Although, Dragon Knight wisely put lots of armor on all sides of his rammer.
And Dragon Knight also has a squib within the rings, so that causes Capitalist to go in and try to
Not
take
anymore.
it out.
Yes. That was a good distraction, but... Oh, he has the other one. I didn't even realize. That will be very helpful. Yeah, definitely if you have a slow ship, squibs are mandatory. Wait, how is he spawning? Oh, I see. He has extra, like, leftover credits, so he can just buy more. That is interesting. is still having a hard time getting to the ring. Honestly, if I were to do a sumo ship, I would put side thrust lots of it, because that is pretty important when you're trying to ram and keep your positioning on the ram. And he's going to go straight back out of the ring after getting in because he has no way to slow down.
Although that is a good attempt at a pivot.
Yes. I think he's just going to need to stop in the middle if he wants to really do much. He's about to lose possession of the center ring.
Squib is coming in.
Nope. It left. He's overshooting it again, and I think he's gonna lose if this squib doesn't do anything right now. Yes, he is very overshot it. That's about to be game in 3, 2, 1. The squib was too late. GG. That was an interesting match. Definitely more exciting than Eno Shades won. But in the end, Capitalist won with that fast wall.
Shade's match was very interesting. We watched it get shot at for 5 minutes.
Yes, and that's what Cosmoteer is all about, really. You watch things blow up.
That's entertainment at its finest. Right, next up is Typeless and Space Cat.
The highlight reel of this tournament is just going to be that entire fight and nothing else. Why are the players still in the game? They're supposed to forfeit by now.
Dragonite forfeit. There we go.
Get out of here. We don't want your kind. Shade, rejoin the game. Rejoin it. Oh, I didn't even have to ping either of these people.
I said it, and they were listening to the stream probably.
Or they looked in announcements because I'm
Or that.
updating the bracket.
Okay.
Very interesting. Space Cat. They're actually both bringing ships which can be doubled, 750k per separate ship. One of Typeless is bringing rail traps, while Space Cat is apparently bringing a wall, although it's very hard to see
There's
what's
a
going
cannon
on because
wall,
of the
and
paint
it looks
scheme.
like, I think it's a cannon and laser wall from the names and the looks. I cannot tell what that other one is at all. Might be a nuke, I think, actually. Is that a nuke ship? And then the last one, I have no idea either. Some sort of wall. But they're all walls. Different weapons. It'll be interesting to see which weapon he picks versus rails. And he brought his trusty laser squib. And yes.
I think that the green hacker ship is actually a railgun / cannon hybrid.
Hold on 1 second, there's someone at my door.
Well, I guess I'm assisting in casting this one too. I doubt that Luke's gonna use it, but the hacker ship is specifically a missile and cannon wall hybrid, which is a very uncommon type of ship in the meta right now. You don't really see hybrids very often.
Yes, and it seems that Knars is actually a flagship with some electrovolter support.
Alright, I'm back. It was a, what do they call it? I can't remember. Pest, guy that kills bugs. Okay.
Pesticides. So essentially you have two flak traps versus rail traps. Let's see who wins.
Oh yes, this is interesting. I thought those were nukes at first from the paint, but those are definitely flak. I don't know if flak would be the best option for this, but yeah, those rails are still getting through. Especially when you ram like that, they're definitely gonna get through.
Although the flak might be able to hit through the railgun tunnels
Oh, that's
and
true.
destroy the vents.
That is true. That's pretty rare though. Flak is also pretty great at dealing with armor. Oh, that's tough. Typeless just totally wrecked the back of Luke's other ship. And he now has no ship in the ring, so if Typeless can keep this ship out, if he keeps Spaceship Cat's ship out, then he will lose. Especially if his reactor blows up. That is basically game. Wow, that was a quick one.
Well, yeah, that was quick. And a quick forfeit, unlike the last time.
Yeah, I definitely think a different ship type would have been better than Flak, but it's worth a shot. I feel like that round shows the difference between rail traps that are well piloted and ones that are not from the first round, because that's really what matters when you're fighting with rails. They are not a very powerful weapon, but when they're used correctly, they can be.
They're especially good at punishing your opponent for any mistakes that they make. As soon as that reactor is exposed, it's pretty much gone.
Very true. It is interesting he saved his shots to wait for those moments. And he maneuvered his opponent so that his other ship could shoot. That was a very clever move. Of course, Yarg is using a meme image that he edited in.
Funnily enough, for the viewers that aren't aware, you can actually edit Cosmoteer ship files so that they have different images than the ship itself. Such as...
Yeah, as long as you don't touch that like top bar that you see there on that ship, it won't actually affect the ship file, because that's where all the ship information is stored.
Although I believe that Equalizer actually came up with a way to...
did find out a way to actually overcome that, although it's very complicated, and I don't think anyone else has been able to do it before. So
I've done it because Equalizer actually put out a step-by-step guide for doing it using various different kinds of layer blending modes.
I see. Also, what is your opinion on how legal, if that was an actual combat ship, how legal would that be? Sorry.
I thought I edited it into the rules that it was a prohibited strategy. So either I forgot to do that or Yara is breaking the rules, but I don't feel like checking, so I'm just going to pretend it isn't in the rules because it probably isn't. But in the future it will not be a allowed strategy because it gives you an advantage that some other players might not even be aware of its existence.
I mean, clearly, if you have ship preview turned on, then obviously you should be allowed to see the other player ships. It's not like you get to choose.
Yeah, you can also edit your ship into looking like a totally different ship, which would be very destructive.
Although
Yes.
that's like more of a subtle thing. You'd have to. It's hard to actually do that, I would say. It takes actual skill in shipbuilding to like make a ship look like another. I mean, it depends on how gullible the other person is.
Well, I meant more so that you upload an image of another ship as the visual.
That? Well,
yeah.
that would also be against the rules.
Yeah.
That would actually be image editing.
That would very much be not allowed.
Yes, usually this is just used for memes, but if you, for example, put an image of a wall and then set it up to look like a rail ship, or the other way around, that would be pretty illegal.
Still a very cool thing to have done. And find
wait,
out.
actually, I'm just realizing that meme ship is worth 1.5 mil, so I'm pretty sure that's actually a competitive ship, edited.
Or it's a very specifically priced armor brick.
Maybe. We'll see. Doomderp is going for another rail trap. Not surprised at all. Rail traps are still one of those powerful ships, if piloted correctly. He also has a missile barge and laser wall, laser fast wall, and a rammer. Although, wait, is that a missile orbiter?
Missile orbiter, I do think.
Orbiter, yes. Yarg also has a missile orbiter and fast wall and a rail trap. So they all brought some very similar ships. It's just up to which one they choose. This one is interesting because it's kind of a waiting game to wait for the other person to place a ship. If no one places a ship, then the time will just run out.
This is probably my favorite part of the tournament thus far, is the posturing without any ships.
Yes.
You can't edit a different ship in your fleet loadout either, and spawn like a squib to force the enemy to spawn something else. So one of them is going to have to spawn a 1.5 mil ship eventually.
Yeah, I forgot you can edit them.
So,
right?
especially since the tiniest ships, they could essentially cost, I think, 50k if you don't have a reactor in it, and that would be very cheap to just use to pressure the opponent.
I would totally just spawn a squib immediately just to try to capture the point. Use the enemy's indecision against them. I think this is even more compelling gameplay than Shade's battle. It's a very close match right now. Neck and neck. Oh, looks like Yargs has spawned a rail trap. And how is Doomderp going to respond?
He's definitely on the clock
still
now.
Not spawned a ship. What is he doing?
Any moment it might be too late to spawn a ship now, so Doomderp really has to hurry up.
Oh, he's going for a missile orbiter. Interesting choice.
If he can get both ships stuck inside of the net in the front, then it's basically game over, since the rail traps would never be able to escape.
It seems that Doomderp is a lot faster, but Doomderp will also have to be slowing down, as it is only forward thrust.
Unless he can perform a ram to slow himself down, as it appears he is trying to do. Yep, that slowed him down for sure. Although, he might
now,
get
one
pushed
of the
out.
rail traps has a good side shot right now.
Yep. That's gonna be pretty devastating. Oh, what?
It
I
wasn't,
see.
it
Taking
wasn't
out
a
the
fan.
missile? He could have gone for the reactor pretty easily. Oh, it looks like... What? Oh, there's
What
no way for
happened
him
there?
to turn.
Doomderp
There's no way for him
surrendered.
to turn. Yargs was gonna capture the points. He was pretty much screwed at that point. There was no way to retaliate.
Although, I'd always fight to the very end. There's always
Yeah, I
a
kinda
chance
always
that
want
you
to
might
see
win.
it end, but... Well. So next up we have the Quay versus INC.
Well, Polar, as they say, do not forfeit, that's your job.
That's still a thing, isn't it?
That's mine.
Should I tell the story of what happened? Do you want to? Should we not share it all?
Sure.
Okay, so for those...
Basically,
Sorry,
Oh, you
what?
can do it.
Go ahead.
Okay, fine. So basically, I was in a tournament, and let's just say there was a pretty broken strategy known as preloaded missiles that had infinite ammo. Uh, so basically, I just made a ship full of missiles launchers and no reactors, and I beat every single person easily, I would say. And then it came to the final round of the tournament versus Cosmoteer, and I have a lot of respect for him. And I really didn't want to fight him with the game-breaking ship. That was probably against the rules, but I decided to just forfeit the last round by buying a ship that says "GG, you win" on it. And he was
Noticeably,
very upset with that.
noticeably, Polar beat 5 other people in the process, give or take, including myself, that apparently he didn't have enough respect for. It's quite sad.
And I've never used a terribly exploitive ship again.
I've done it once, which was with the nuke flingers. I believe that I was the one to commit the most to that strategy, and it worked until OM kind of tricked me at the end. Although I think I could have pulled that off if I just kept spamming more nuke flingers rather than choosing a different ship. It appears that we are still waiting for INC. It might be good to ping them.
Uh, anyways, while waiting, Zikwe, I don't know how it's pronounced.
I think it's ZQE, as far as I remember.
Okay, Zikwe, got it. Zikwe has a wall, laser splitter wall, it looks like, and he has normal laser wall. Well, I guess that's actually 2 laser walls. Then there's a missile orbiter with tractor beams, and a 2 rail fans. Also, it's interesting to note that that second rail fan is actually a missile orbiter at the same time, from the looks of it. Unless that's like, yeah, that looks like missiles.
Hey,
And it has a lot of thrust.
Quite interestingly, Quiximo was actually experimenting with hybrid rail and missile ships, which he posted recently in Excelsior, and whilst this seems to be somewhat different, it might be borrowing the same idea. There are notable differences, though, with what ZQE does, as Quiximo's ship is lengthier, has longer rails, and it also has 2-directional thrust, whilst the pod split by ZQE is 1-directional.
Interesting. Also, it appears INC is on Do Not Disturb mode, so I don't think he can actually receive any pings.
well, I gave him
That's
3 minutes
amazing.
to show up, and he didn't. So we're postponing this fight until we reach it in the bracket again, in which case he will automatically lose. So unfortunately, ZQE, it is time for you to go. Oh, there he is. Oh, never mind. Said all that stuff for nothing. Just shows up anyways. Why did you leave?
Sorry, it's not getting postponed, so it's still going to be ZQE versus INC.
So far we've waited 4 minutes for Mr. INC, or Necro, or whatever those characters stand for.
Again, I would say ZQE has a great advantage of experience and ship quality, but we will see in the fight who is going to do better.
Zikui is definitely a name many people in the Cosmoteer community recognize, whereas Necro/INC is someone I haven't heard of until actually today.
Dan was asking if he can be a commentat in the next tournament. What are your opinions on that, Saris?
I think it's actually a commentatot, which I would have to do a mic check, but I don't have any open positions for commentatots right now. Maybe commentators.
I'm actually under the impression that it rhymes with proletariat, so it would be commentaliat, I think.
Possibly. Ah. So.
It looks like
I forgot that I
is
crash every other
immediately
game.
going for his cannon walls.
Ooh,
And those
Zikui.
things are very fast.
This has probably been the fastest match to start.
Yep. And he's actually slowing down instead of overshooting the ring. An amazing play right there.
That's the first time someone's ever done that.
This is why a race tournament would never work. Everyone would just crash into the wall. Or
After they lag and horribly disconnect, like, Shade has.
Yes.
INC is actually doing some pretty good piloting, it seems, but overshot a bit too much, and has now lost a lot of time to the ring.
Oof. What was that? Wait, was that a nuke? Or was that a reactor suicide? I couldn't tell.
It was probably the shielded squib destroying itself on one of Zikui's ships.
Oh, those cannon walls are, I guess, yeah. Cannon ships are not very shielded. They have, like, no defenses in the back. And so far he has mistakenly overturned several times.
A very impressive move there by Zikiri, dodging the nukes right there.
Yep.
Not
But they're
gonna
coming back,
dodge
and
those.
he is now dead. Well, that's not looking good. He does still have one ship in the ring, although it is on fire. Is there fire extinguishers? Yes, there is. Okay. And it's now out of the ring, but the other ones came in.
The nuke ship is actually being extremely effective here when paired up with some smaller ones.
Yeah.
The cannons really can't get through any of the armor.
I mean, you can't really do much against nukes when you're this tiny, except for dodge, because two of them literally took out the entire ship. Yeah. The area of effect of the nukes is just so large that any hit is devastating. The reason it's not so bad against large ships is that large ships often have large air gaps inside of them, out where the nuke is ineffective. But versus tiny ships with no air gaps, they are extremely effective. Oh, that was an amazing round. I can't believe INC won that. Nukes are just so good.
Yeah, and especially in the confined space, I think the nukes are able to,
Yeah, that's true.
really take care of the opponent, because the opponent cannot run away from them as they usually would.
The nukes are like the shortest range weapon of than mines, I guess. so it's definitely effective. I would say mines would just be as effective as nukes in this case scenario, but it'd be interesting to see if anyone chooses a mine ship.
I don't think anyone expected mines to be that good. Or nukes, rather.
Yeah, nukes. They're really not good in normal play, but when you're this close quarters, it does actually have a good effect. Let's see. Captain Redstone and Wood are up next. Looks like they're going for the same ship types as they had last time, except for Captain Redstone is pulling out a rail spinner.
Shepard. I kind of love how Danwood just has the same 3 ships from the previous tournament.
They did prove to be very versatile and mobile.
The issue is definitely versus rails, though, because it doesn't have... Actually, it has a lot of armor, but if it gets to the side or the back, you're dead very quickly.
Actually, I think they did do pretty well against rails, just because taking out one reactor is not enough to disable the ship.
Yeah, that's true as well. You'd have to get several good shots. It's always satisfying seeing a wall shoot for the first time with all the projectiles aligned.
Yeah, and here you have the alternating laser turrets and electro bolters, especially great.
Captain Redstone is shooting some nukes from behind, but he missed by a lot.
Although they might arc
Or a
around.
ram. Ooh, that's gonna hurt if he can get a nuke right into that reactor.
Yep,
Although
a
he's
nuke
probably
is
gonna
active
die,
right
so-
now.
Yep. And he's fired it, and it has done quite a bit of damage. Although it hasn't actually gotten to the reactor at all.
One more hit and that reactor is gone, I think. The second nuke is almost ready.
Yep. Oh, he shot it right next to his ship, which has damaged it a little, but not as much as I thought it would. Also interesting, Danwood went way outside of the ring when he should have just focused on that nuke ship, honestly. Also, I really don't know what Captain Redstone's idea was for this rail spinner, because it cannot move.
I think they was supposed to use the nuke ship to move, but then he disconnected it. So then the thrust
Probably
was...
out of...
Yeah.
Probably out of... He had to, because otherwise Danwood would have taken the ring.
Also worth noting that the spawn areas are destructive to enemy ships, and Danwood is currently melting.
I had no idea. Danwood's literally dead. What?
Oof.
Wow.
That's it.
I actually had no idea that mechanic existed. I've never actually gone to the spawn of an enemy.
I knew about
That-
it, but I thought it was more like standard RRD. This is instant melting.
Yeah, that's like crazy fast.
That's like a mile outside
And
of the
it looks
rod.
like it affects not only the inside the ring, but like the area around it, I think. That's interesting. Imagine a rammer uses its own spawn as a weapon. It just rams the enemy ship into its own spawn and then kills it immediately.
Well, I think Redstone wins. I don't see Danwood coming
but
back from this
okay.
one.
Unless he somehow has enough credits left over to buy a squib or something.
It seems that Captain Redstone might have to be alternating the firing direction of the thrusters for the spinner ship in order to move it, which does seem like a lot of micro.
It's very much
Yeah.
possible to have any direction of movement with that system, though.
It's just very hard. Especially because every time you do it, you're going to spin faster and faster, and it's going to be harder and harder to get any distance.
And Redstone
that
wins.
is game.
That was an interesting round. I honestly did not see that coming. Danwood probably could have won if he had just stayed in the ring.
I think that the only way to dislodge the nuke ship was to try and run, because I don't think it was coming out anytime soon, and it would have progressively killed all of the ship parts.
Well, he didn't even try
Actually,
spinning.
rotating.
He could have spun, and that would have probably been faster than that nuke ship, because that nuke ship wasn't like crazy fast. And it only had forward thrust, so it couldn't keep up with the spin. Interesting. What is that other ship that Capitalist has? Is that a rail ship? Or can't even tell. It was very long.
Looked like a missile
Looks like
ship
he
to
chose
me.
the bus. Okay, that is
Oh.
a interesting choice, and he is probably not going to win this round.
That's one way to
If you
go out.
want, yeah, if you want a good laugh, you should probably look on the inside of a ship because it's just all corridors with some walkways through them.
Please let this be a normal field trip.
Ah, Miss Frizzle.
I didn't know the magic school bus had nukes mounted in front of it.
Well, of course it does.
To be fair, with these nukes, it has a decent chance of winning. Not even gonna lie.
It's not 0.
It even has some missiles.
It's not a 0% chance of winning. But it's not very high either.
Wait, isn't this not his ship? This is Captain Redstone's ship, right?
Bruh.
So even if he did win, he'd be disqualified.
Well.
Almost reaching the reactor there.
That was a close one. And there goes the reactor.
There goes the magic school bus.
There goes the other reactor.
Oh, he painted it. That's why I was confused. Oh, I've not been reading the YouTube chat at all. I don't even have the stream pulled up.
I assumed people weren't even chatting there. Imagine chatting on the YouTube chat when you can go to the Cosmoteer Discord tournament chat.
To be fair, the YouTube chat is actually preserved with the stream, so it would be shown to subsequent viewers.
I am Slowking has said E in the YouTube chat, so let's all appreciate that comment for a little while.
Let's vibe with it.
Alright, I think E has been thoroughly appreciated. Now let's move on to the next topic.
You're not in the game. Just thought you should know.
In Redstone is I can't think of things to say and have them read out loud some of YouTube chat. So that is what I'm doing right now. He said awake 100. Whatever that means.
Well, the game started, so cast that. You're caster.
Yep. Looks like it's another waiting round as they... Oh, he has spawned a squib. Nice strategy.
That's actually a
Slowking is going
squeeb.
in for the capture. And the Yarg has responded with another squib, sadly. Oh, though he has spawned other ships. Wait, what? That is an interesting choice.
2 squibs.
Oh boy. They are
The
both
tiny
going with
squibs are
a
called
ton of small ships. Why?
Why
oh
not?
no, the fleet approaches.
The army has come. You're not ready. This is such a meme. I don't understand. Those cannons are gonna do a lot of damage, though. To be fair.
None of those
against,
ships have
other small
additional.
ships.
None of the ships have additional ammo or energy, though, so they won't actually be functioning for
Yeah.
very long.
They only have like a few shots each. What is that actually? Let me count. Is that how much ammo do these hold?
Roughly 9 shots, I think. Could be 12.
Seems to be so.
But they will start fires, and I think with ships these small, they won't have any fire extinguishers.
I mean, not that they'll need those because they're gonna die before they'll even get able to shoot that all off.
The cannons actually have pretty high armor values, so they're not
Yeah.
getting taken out by the lasers.
It's honestly not a bad design for a swarm ship. It's just that swarm ships really aren't that good in general. I mean, but against other swarm ships that are equally as bad, I would say it's pretty decent.
I'm sure if
In
Gear
any
decided...
extended fight, appears Slowking has left the ring unguarded, which is kind of a mistake.
It's also starting to run out of energy.
Oh, that's true. He's literally out of energy for his thrust.
It might have been good for Slowking to actually turn off some of the ships and engage them later.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Or just not spawn them in until later.
Or
We
just...
definitely didn't need this many ships. Half of them weren't even firing, I'm pretty sure.
Or just save some money for squibs.
And it looks like that is it for Yarg, and Slokin has won.
But it's interesting to see the domination meta of expendable cannon ships creeping into this tournament.
I definitely didn't expect to see that many expendable fighters.
Yeah, I mean, that really just shows you why they're so good in domination. You can just keep spawning them.
Looks like it's Captain Redstone's same ship setup, except for he has also added a swarm to his arsenal.
I'm quite interested in seeing what that swarm is, because to me it looks a bit like ion ships from this far away.
It can't be ions. Ions are
Yeah,
terrible
I
on
can't really
swarms.
tell. Captain Redstone is very good with his swarms, so I would think he would actually do pretty decently with those. I think they are ions, because he does like ion swarms as well.
Yeah, and those used to be really popular. Lately, not so much. It's just lasers and cannons now.
Plus, you can outrun swarms.
But you can't outrun squibs.
That is the point of a squib.
Is ICN not doing his nuke ship? I would say that's his best ship by far. I don't know why he wouldn't choose that again. Okay, looks like Captain Redstone has gone for a missile barge and a squib. And ICU has gone for a cannon wall, a laser wall, and 2 squibs. Really think he should have gone with that nuke wall, but
Well, it probably won't matter, because as soon as the squib... Yeah, as soon as the squib dies, then he'll have nothing contesting the battle, since the crusading range is going at approximately 30 meters per second.
Oh, I forgot we have
It is accelerating though.
Yep, it's not accelerating very fast though. It's gonna take a while to get there. I don't think it's gonna make it. It's already almost 50% contested.
Well, the squib got back in.
Oh, okay.
That will buy a bit of time, but actually if the crusading range ship was rammed, I think that would slow it down enough for it to not matter anymore.
Especially since his squib is about to die.
It's surviving so far. Oh, it died.
Nope, lost his control room.
Come on, Redstone.
Let's see if he can successfully get through this cannon wall.
And...
For some reason the squibs have left.
Yeah, what did he do that for? He said, I think he miscontrolled them. He selected the wrong ships. It looks like he's losing his control of the point. that laser ship could ram on the side, it would actually do pretty decently versus the missile barge. But as it stands, he's just shooting the armor cone on the front. So I don't know what his goal is.
Getting through the armor is not going to be an easy task, especially if you're shooting at the thickest parts first.
Yeah. Cannon ship might be able to do something, but I don't know.
Funnily enough, this ship is built with small reactors, so if you even if you get to the ship itself, you still have to get through more armor to destroy other parts.
So it only has one control room, which is about to die.
Yes.
That is a fatal flaw.
He's been able to spin out of the way, but still that is a very exposed area, and there's a squid coming in to try to take it out. Oh, it missed. That's a pretty close one.
Unfortunately, because of all the additional armor, most of the missiles aren't actually hitting anything.
And because he's rotating
The
so
squid is
fast,
in.
all the rotation is throwing off the missiles and they're hitting the armor. That control room is very exposed. If that cannon gets any ammo, it's going to kill it. Oh boy. One shot to the armor. 2 shots. The armor is gone. Oh, but the squid is gone. That is a close one.
I think
There's
that
currently nothing between the control room and empty space. Any stray shot can take it out now.
And Captain Weston has been split in two,
so I need
which means that the missiles are no longer firing.
Yep. And he's gonna lose possession of the control point in a few seconds. And his control room's also gonna be blown up. So
That looks like game.
I cannot believe ICU has gone on another round.
It's pretty impressive.
This was definitely the most exciting match.
But that's all the matches.
Oh, I said ICN, I meant INC. Why can't people just be named actual names?
Or pronounceable names.
Wait, is this... Yeah, more pronounceable and memorable names.
Though I guess
Silky
I'm one.
versus Typeless. I can't believe it, but INC is actually in the finals. But that's,
INC has been showing very effective piloting and ship design, actually.
yeah. They've been winning the rock, paper, scissors game for most of these, I feel like. Because their ships are just pretty they're able to easily counter the other ships they go against. Goes to show that Cosmoteer isn't always about ship design.
Though it does help.
Strategy matters a large amount. Captain Rosen said that INC has actually been around for a while, but they haven't joined the Discord. That's why we think so now.
Well, I would never know. Most of us only interact on the Discord.
Yeah, especially since I haven't been playing much multiplayer, I've not actually met any of the people who don't hang around in the Discords.
Typeless is taking his sweet time, and if the time elapses, he's going to be disqualified because there's no second chance, I think, on this round.
Nope.
Since it's the semifinals, there's no other match to do.
Well, I'm gonna go get a drink. So you guys can talk at each other.
Okay. I don't know what to say because we're just waiting for Typeless. He says he's doing IRL things. Pretty crazy how fast this tournament has gone. Usually they last like 3 hours. This one's only been like an hour and 20 minutes, and we're basically on the second to last round. That's nice.
It's because the contestants are forced quite close, so they destroy each other quite quickly.
Yeah, generally most rounds in normal vanilla play will be you have to wait around for the ring to close in like at least 5 minutes every round before anyone starts attacking. Because rushing in is generally not a good strategy unless you know what you're doing. I have to say this type of tournament definitely favors multi-directional thrust ships, and I think Luke would appreciate that a lot. But other than that, I would say this is more in the vision of what Walt wants the game to be, compared to the strafing and orbiting and kiting of normal multiplayer.
I still think that all forward sumo ships could work because I had some which quite effectively dispatch some railfans in test games. However, you have to land them.
And you have to somehow get all the squib ships at the same time, which is not really possible. I would say
So the strategy that I went for was attaching a proper cannon fighter onto the sumo ship, and then that could detach and take care of the smaller squibs.
yeah, that would be a good strategy. I still think multi-directional thrust would help it a lot with keeping its hold on the ship it is ramming.
Yeah, probably. At the back, you could have a big thruster array for turning as fast as possible.
Yes, that would be very helpful. I'd be interested in seeing more tournaments like this. I just hope more people participate and know what they're doing.
I would have
It's
to.
kind of sad to see Danwood fall into that super destructive ring of death in the spawn.
I would have to change the settings so that all the fights don't like immediately end in the first minute, because although having a fast tournament is nice, it's still kind of sad to have like a event that was built up for 2 weeks be over in about 2 hours rather than the usual 4.
Yeah, but I think you get people more interested in it if you have shorter tournaments.
That is fair.
And then more participants, and then more, I guess, publicity for the game.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't participate because they don't know if they'll have enough time for it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yards. In 2 hours rather than the usual 4. Yeah, I don't think 4 should be the usual.
But it's so
Anyway.
fun.
Dude, literally, I practically fell asleep during the last tournament where we had it go on for like 6 hours.
Well, it was split
Yeah,
over
it
2
was
days.
Yeah, but like 6 hours each day over 2 days. No one is going to participate in that.
It was 2.5 hours each day. 3 on the first one.
Yeah, definitely not 6.
It was 5.5. I defend it as a fun event. That was probably the best tournament that I've ever hosted, and several people were very much excited about the next one. They didn't show up for this one because naturally, but it was still a very good tournament. I'll defend it.
I agree. That was quite fun. Although, I remember a bit of time later, Execade hosted a modded tournament, which was really fun for me just because I didn't have to build a 1.5 mil ship. It was just like 150k budget, so you could try a few ideas out really quickly, and that was nice for familiarizing yourself with the mods. And possibly the thing that screwed over the modded tournament was just that people were expected to commit and build a 1.5 mil ship, and that would just take quite a long time using new components.
I'm pretty sure this is one of the first tournaments that a non-previous competitive player, well, at least non-well-known competitive player, has actually gotten in second place. I mean, in the finals.
Technically, I did. My
Who could
first
win?
tournament, I got in second place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lost to.
Where was that?
It was like.
Was it Luke?
Yeah, and the colioids.
2018? Yeah, so 3 years ago
Wha-
was the last time that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there somebody who actually won their first tournament, like who was playing in multiplayer before
That
that, but on the
was-
first tournament
That
won?
was
I mean,
Quiximo.
obviously the very first tournament, the winner, I think it was One Eye, right? Let me check. No, it
Possibly.
was actually Nakazuki was the first tournament winner. After that, it was actually Kuroko. I totally didn't realize. He was the second tournament winner. Then it was Dallas, and then Dallas again, and then Dallas again. Dallas will be missed.
I'm sure I'll come back for the
Wasn't actually
1.0
around for
release.
Dallas? Although I have seen Dallas's like proto spinner ships, which were quite fascinating because they were made before Autofire was a thing.
Yep, it's pretty crazy what he did.
But anyways, the match is starting. Pretty
Yeah, the
fast
match is
this time
starting.
too.
Yep, both going in with all their ships immediately. Flokin is going for a railfan wall, kind of. It's not like a longer. He's going for shorter rails rather than longer, which I definitely think is beneficial in a match like this, where range doesn't matter as much, since you're all going for the same location.
Both players seem to be looking for style points by capping the additional point of the enemy,
Yeah.
which doesn't do anything, but you get to style on your opponent.
See how ineffective those nukes are versus armor?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a
The
really
air gap
good
plus
rail.
armor means
fan.
the nukes basically do nothing. And that nuke ship is very much dead. Although, why is Slowkey not turning? He's about to get killed by that laser ship.
I think Slowking is just a bit too slow to turn around fast enough to
Oh,
avoid
he was
this.
using AI control. That's why he wasn't direct controlling it.
That's usually a very bad move, especially with orbiters, since they will refuse to do anything.
Yes.
But as you can see,
Uh-oh.
that nuke that hit the side, that was quite effective.
He had a strong opening, but
Wow. ICN is gonna win with Cappian. That's crazy. It was a good play for Slowking, but he ultimately did not have a secondary ship to protect the ring. GG.
Remember at the start of the tournament when we were all not very nice about ICN ships? And then he won.
INC, but yeah.
INC.
I mean, yeah, like again, he doesn't have like the greatest designs, but he has a very good strategy.
His piloting was
I think the
pretty good
piloting
too.
carries that.
And
but
piloting is also very good.
piloting as well as just simply using, I think, possibly the best ships for this game mode, because they seem to counter a lot of different strategies available here.
Do one more round where I go against INC. I just want to see if I can beat him.
Yes, you can. It's not official or anything.
No.
If INC has some time, I'd also be happy to go against them, although, actually scratch that, I probably don't have the best ships for it.
I mean, your last one didn't have weapons.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea. I just thought about how it could survive rail ships, and then I didn't think about anything else. So, Saris, how many ships have you painted as rewards for tournaments?
I don't know. Actually, I was really gonna paint anything anyone sends my way. It's just that no one really does it. You know? So basically any. As many ships as they want.
Oh my goodness, he's gonna make you paint the Fanged Fighter.
Well,
At least it's not a big ship. That's nice.
that is true. He could be having me paint a 10 million plus
He
ship.
sends in like 1,000 by 1,000 grid. He's like, I need you to paint this aesthetically. What would you even
And
do?
I want like, details everywhere.
I want details. Extravagant details everywhere.
At that point, I might need to be commissioned. And also strongly revise what I actually am willing to paint.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give you this 100,000 by 100,000 ship, and I want you to paint it with the extravagance of a Persian rug.
What?
Well, now it's Polar versus INC. It doesn't seem
Oh, I
that
should've
Polar
bought a
is
faster
muted.
ship.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm in the middle of match. It's not counting for anything. I don't think it really matters. I mean, I'll mute, sure.
I was going to say that it doesn't seem that Polar has muted, so we might be hearing some curse words as certain ships explode. But apparently he turned it off. probably where you would be cursing.
I remember Polar Bear actually brought that exact rail trap ship to a battle against my missile orbiter, and it was a really close one there.
Yes, he did use this ship in the previous tournament. He still has mines for some reason, possibly the worst weapon in the game, but Polar is using them. He's also getting some pretty good work done on the cannon ship, since the nuke ship with his cannon ships, since it can't really turn around to defend itself, and the nukes only fire in a 90-degree arc, I think, in front of them, so it can't really fire back.
Also, it's worth noting that INC's ship does not have much backwards thrust, so that means that Polar can simply wait for it to either float out of the capture point or remove its reactor forcefully.
This nuke volley might cause damage to rails. Yep, there's 2 of the 3, and chaining or fires might destroy the 3rd one. But the laser ship seems to be completely non-functional, or will soon be made to be non-functional.
I think Polar might still have a chance if he quickly changes his targets to get the back of the nuke ship before it's ready.
Maybe, but he just fired one of his only shots before that happened, and it didn't do anything. And his top ship seems to have lost quite a bit of itself. And Polar now has a mine layer and a half-destroyed fighter.
And once again, some quite tight piloting, I think, from both of them. They're not really giving each other much way to make errors here.
This has probably been the closest fight in the entire tournament thus far, even though it's not strictly part of the tournament. If Polar can get away
Although
safe...
Polar is out of weapons.
Well, he still has mines, and he notably has additional thrust, so he could probably push the laser ship out of the ring, since there is quite a bit of armor.
Polar does have one cannon.
One cannon. Oh, the nuke ship fired another nuke!
Oof.
And he
I
lost
did not see that one coming.
the dead hunk of a ship in its last moments pushed the speedball out of the ring. Can the Mantis kill the nuke ship before speedball gets back?
I'll have to say his nuke ship is a lot more durable than I thought it was. Pretty hard to chain react that with all the armor he has in between the nuke modules.
It has lots of inlaid armor. But Polar seems to be out of ships. And INC
I mean,
proves
I think his
why
durability was what won him the tournament.
Yeah. And the
The
prediction...
Very
nukes
close
just
match,
couldn't
though.
be captured very well in this small
I
area.
probably should have actually participated. I was planning on building like a specific ship, but like I just threw in my only ships I had really. They worked out pretty well. I've also never practiced piloting multiple ships, so yeah.
Well, at least he did the most damage to him out of everyone that lost to him. Well, that's the stream. Thanks for coming, everyone. Do the other casters have anything else to say?
Nope.
Not really. Good job.
Thanks for coming to the stream.
Well, good games, everyone. Come
Make
join
sure
the
to
Discord.
Like, comment, subscribe,
Not those.
and that notification bell
Don't advertise for me. I can do that myself.
for more tournaments in the future. Actually, if we can get 10,000 likes, I will do another tournament next week. So, guys, make sure to smash like.
10,000. If we get like 100,
Do not record the video.
maybe.
If we can get a 10,000 likes, I will literally pay someone money.
Pay people money to join the tournament.
I will buy you Cosmoteer if you get 10,000 likes. Everyone in this tournament.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. But,
I'm hoping Walt
that's
massively overprices it in the first few days.
just for me.
Well, anyways, come join the next tournament. Join the Discord, buy Cosmoteer, follow it, etc. It's a cool place. We do cool things. And goodbye.